Saturday. Dustin Starr here, coming to you live from my home, right down the street from Memphis, Tennessee, and right down the street from the Memphis Wrestling WrestleCenter. Hello, everybody. Once again, happy Saturday. Today's going to be busy. Last night was awesome. I had the opportunity to go with some friends to Crossroads Arena for micro wrestling and also mini kiss. That was just a ton of fun. Very, very cool stuff out at Crossroads Arena. Big shout out to Neil. But then also tonight, we're going to be out live in Tupelo, Mississippi at the Tupelo Furniture Market. You know, we have some big events coming up in the Tupelo and Mississippi area in August. But coming up tonight, Vicky Guerrero is going to be there along with VIP Championship Wrestling. A lot of the stars from Memphis Wrestling. I'll be there. Big John Dalton will be there. Coach Pillar's going to be there. We've got a big announcement we can't wait to share with the fans. And then also, I think Zaya Wolf's going to be there. The Shocker's going to be there. Hold on, Zaya. Oh! So all that's going down tonight in Tupelo, Mississippi. And then tomorrow, I'll be live at AutoZone Park. Day baseball for the Memphis Redbirds. And then, of course, next Sunday, live at the WrestleCenter. Shark Boy makes his return to Memphis Wrestling, and then also James Ellsworth. You can get those tickets at memphiswrestling.tv. Also T-shirts, merchandise, memorabilia, championship belts, all sorts of stuff you can get at championshipdrip.com or memphiswrestling.tv. Let me get caught up. What's up, Rico? Hey, Brian, how are you? What's up, Murray? Coach Pillar's in the house. Oh, looks like we've got a $5 donation from my man, Eddie Kane. So Kevin Fowler's got some tickets, and coming up, he's going to have them reserved right next to you. It says, for 6 strong years of Memphis wrestling. I appreciate that, Eddie Kane, man. Oh, yeah. And if you guys want to send a donation, you could do the same thing. Just click the little button. Now, that money that we get from the donations goes to people that typically can't buy tickets to Memphis Wrestling for whatever reason, kids, whatnot. We put that towards that. And then also you can join this channel because I talk about a lot of stuff that I'm not supposed to talk about. Also a lot of behind the scenes stuff when you join this channel along with our emojis. But big shout out to Eddie Kane, man. He's got his, I guess we can call it a season ticket at Memphis Wrestling. So we appreciate him. Coach Pillar, he's going to be in the house at Tupelo tonight. Don't forget, we have to take promo pictures. Where's Derek King? Is Derek King listening to this? Man, we need a new promo picture for Derek King for years now, so that's going down. Brian says, awesome episode. Thank you, brother. Kevin Fowler in the house, 5 in the sky. Oh, yeah. Oh, one last thing at Crossroads Arena when we were at Mini Kiss and Micro Wrestling. Man, oh, man, wrestling fans are the greatest in the entire world. We took so many pictures and just lots of really cool wrestling and local community love out there. So big shout out to everybody out at Crossroads Arena. Can't wait for Tupelo tonight. Willie says one of these days Psycho Simon is going to get a serious beatdown. Well, it better be a big bad dude to do it, because your boy Psycho Simon, the Memphis Heritage Champion, he doesn't only just talk about it, he bees about it, because he whooped Crazy Steve's ass on TV today. 1, 2, 3, and I would say in the middle of the ring, but it was more like on the floor in front of the desk. What a freaking match. Crazy Steve and Psycho Simon, unbelievable. So who is going to be able to give Psycho Simon that beatdown? Rico says CJ Blaine needs to end this with CJ Money. You know what? I'm with CJ Blaine. I'm glad he did that at the desk, but he said, look, enough is enough. And to quote the famous, one of my favorites, Owen Hart, enough is enough and it's time for a change. Who's going to be watching the back of CJ Blaine? Jason said, what up, Dustin Starr? How's your Father's Day? Man, my Father's Day was awesome. It was absolutely incredible. Big shout out to my Maria, man. She really made it special, so appreciate her. Patrick Moore, how violent can you get on the show? Oh, we're getting pretty violent. You've seen some blood. I mean, we don't make a habit of that kind of stuff. You've seen thumbtacks before. You've seen barbed wire before. You've seen tables aplenty. So, yeah, how crazy do you want us to get? How violent do you want us to get? Crazy Steve was so close. Yeah, he was. Yo, Dustin, mercy, daddy, mercy, baby, love you. What's up, Thomas? How are you? Robert says, Dustin, did you watch Dynamite last Wednesday? I did. I thought it was the best Dynamite that I've seen in a long time. I am going to put on my podcast this week and send it out as a reel. Big kudos to Tony Khan and everybody involved. Man, that Mexico Grand Slam looked fantastic. The matches were great. I didn't like the finish for the MJF match. We should have just got a finish, but whatever. It was the energy in the place and the wrestling and the atmosphere. Everything was really, really good, Robert. Coach Pillar and the Shocker. Yeah, the Shocker will be there tonight. I can't wait to see you guys together. Jeffrey says, hello, Dustin. I want to thank you for letting Eddie Kane Main do a shout out to me. It was the highlight of my week. Man, if you guys missed it, shout out to Jeffrey. I saw that. I thought it was very, very cool. Eddie Kane Main had a poster with a shout out of his YouTube live partner, his tag team partner, Jeffrey Allred. So very, very cool stuff. Shout out to Eddie Kane Main too. What's up, Sylvester? How are you? Thomas says, yellow Eddie Kane Main. Rico, there's a lot of superstars from NXT on the main roster that should have stayed on NXT. I can't disagree with that. Finn Balor, Itami, the Ascension, etc. I think Keith Lee could be on that list. Johnny Gargano could be on that list. Tommaso Ciampa could be on that list. And I know they've done other stuff. I also think the Motor City Machine Guns should be staples in NXT as well. And that is not a... that's not a slight at all. That just means that they are so solid. You know, I think NXT is some of the best wrestling. Spill you back hair. I don't know what that means. Thomas, oh yeah, baby. Coach Pillar, breaking the fourth wall. Hey, Dustin. Hey, Simon. Hey, Derek. Memphis Wrestling's always great, but this week was a packed lineup. Yeah, Kevin, I agree. I just couldn't believe that we had the main event of Crazy Steve and Psycho Simon with no rules, but then also a nice little showdown at the desk for the Junior Heritage Championship next week. Vashon Harvey and Oso trying to pay off Colton Cage. Not in a million years. Colton has been working so hard for this. I don't know if there's an amount of money that he would have taken to skip out of this match. Give me the Slaughterhouse comparisons with the Moondogs. I am telling you, Nasty Nick looks just like Larry Booker, which is Larry Latham, a.k.a. Moondog Spot, who was a good friend of mine. And I'll never forget back in the day working for Moondog Spot. He was like a big teddy bear. I know when people say that, it sounds weird, but he really was. He always had a little bitty cup of coffee with him. He always had a little smile, and he was just super freaking cool. I've worked with him at Moondog Championship Wrestling in Osceola for a while. I mean, gosh, up and down the roads, Missouri. So many fond memories of Moondog Spot. And then also I was there when he passed away. I was in the match when he died. But the comparisons are unreal. And now you got the Richard Lee, which is Ash Taylor. And then you've got Jagged James. I mean, these dudes are freaking animals. And what about that? Kicking off the show after Psycho Simon. Slaughterhouse versus the Twins of Salem, and I thought it was crazy. These dudes do remind me of the Moondogs, and I don't know, trust me, we could make it a little more Moondoggy if we want. What if, I'm not even going to throw that out there just in case, but we can make it more Moondoggy if we want. And I don't even know if there's any more Moondogs around. I know we worked with a Moondog Rex several years back, but I don't even know if he's still doing it. So, regardless, Slaughterhouse have arrived today. It was just eye-opening at the destruction that these guys... They beat the Twins of Salem, like, fast. Let me get caught up real quick. Jeffrey Allred, Southern Hospitality. Memphis is not all that bad. Do not believe everything you hear from Stephen A. Smith. Get out of town. What's next for Psycho Simon? Coach Pillar says Slaughterhouse is great. Kevin Fowler, Slaughterhouse reminds me a little of Rowan and Harper in the first incarnation of the Wyatt family. Very nice. I've never understood the Wyatt family comparisons because he's in no way are they copying or mimicking or even trying to get close to Bray Wyatt. But I can see that you could say Harper and Rowan early on. Big Swole Justin Cole can give Psycho Simon. Okay, I'd like to see that. Look at this. Eddie Kane made 19 months as a member only. If you guys want to become a members only, you need to join. It's very inexpensive and you get all sorts of behind the scenes stuff. And we are going to do a members only today. I would like to go live from Tupelo as well. So we'll see how that goes. Hustlers had a legend uncle. All right, check this out. Reggie, let me get caught up and then we'll talk Reggie Be Fine. I remember the epic war between the Moondogs versus Jerry Lawler and Jeff Jarrett. That was absolutely epic. The two pretty boys and babyface, white meat babyface is what they used to call them back in the day, going head up against the nastiest guys. And when Jeff Jarrett and Jerry Lawler would bleed against the Moondogs, it made them tough. Even though Jeff was a pretty boy and all that kind of stuff, it made him tough because he could fight and bleed against the Moondogs. I remember it, man. It was great. I always thought LA Hustlers was a team brought out of nowhere. What's up, Ghost Papa? Memphis Wrestling may need old tables donated. No kidding. Gosh. Kevin Fowler, the Moondogs versus Lawler and Jarrett concession stand brawl happened in my hometown. I was at that. Well, Memphis Wrestling will be live in Tupelo, Mississippi on Friday, August the 22nd with Rikishi. Never know what might happen there. Kevin Fowler says, thanks for bringing in Reggie B. I love seeing the Memphis legend on the show. I did too. We'll talk about him in just a second. You said you had questions for us. I do have questions for you. So let me stop right there. First of all, love to have Reggie B. Fine in. I used to wrestle Reggie B. Fine and Brickhouse Brown like every single weekend with my partner Simon. And it was like wrestling our childhood. I don't know if Reggie B and Brickhouse were our childhood heroes. It was probably like Lawler, Dundee, and Jarrett or whatever. But you know what I'm saying? Growing up watching these guys and now being able to perform in the ring with them was awesome. So I loved having Reggie B. Fine in there. All right, so the questions that I had for you guys regarding playlists. So does Memphis Wrestling need to have more playlists? Because I feel like if some of these episodes from yesteryear were easily accessible other than just a full shows folder, then you guys can get them easier. Another thing is, would you be interested in a live chat on an old episode? Like we go back to a Grind City Rumble or something like that, and then we chat about it and just see how much is different now. That could either be a members only or that could be for everybody. But I just wanted to see if you guys were interested in taking a rewind back maybe once a week and watching and live chatting those old episodes. It would be a premiere just like today and just like we have tomorrow. It would just be a classic episode. Rico says he never saw NXT as a developmental brand. I certainly don't anymore. What do you like better, WWE or NXT? WWE, but NXT is becoming like can't miss, especially the clips and stuff. Colton Cage needs to win the junior belt. Boy, I hope he does. No offense, but I love Vashon Harvey. We trained him and everything, but Colton Cage deserves it. I miss Larry as well. NXT's a good episode every Tuesday and Wednesday. You're exactly right. Seen you talking about your first memory in pro wrestling on a podcast a while back about Psycho and his doll in the locker room. He was a friend of mine, Donald Wadley. Yeah, he's greatly missed too. I reminded of him every time I see Tia Blaylock. But yeah, Kevin, being in the locker room with Psycho. There's a viral video of Psycho hitting the ropes and the rope snapping and him falling backwards. I think even Tommy Dreamer had tweeted it out at some point. But yeah, Psycho was a good one, man. Was that James Curtis in the military preview? Yes, James Curtis. That is him. Don't know exactly what's going on, but it looked like we had a little bit of highlight package. We'll see what happens. To be continued, but good eye there, Rico. Cook says, can you invite Stephen A. Smith to the WrestleCenter? And Coach Pillar is the shocker. If Coach Pillar's the shocker, then I'm very disappointed that Coach Pillar has been holding out on me for all of these years. I don't think it's Coach Pillar, but it could be. Stephen A. Smith. All right, so the mayor has already invited Stephen A. Smith to Memphis, Tennessee. What if we have the mayor meet Stephen A. Smith in the center of the ring at the WrestleCenter? That would be awesome. Kevin Fowler showing off those custom emojis. Patrick says, how many Moondogs were there? I remember Splat, Spike, Cujo, Randy Cully. Forgot his name. I think it was Moondog Spot and Moondog Spike were the ones that I think were the ones that I know as like my faves. But I do remember Moondog Cujo because he was a little bit bigger. And I always thought that Moondog Cujo was like the underdog, like because Spot was the original, so Cujo was just, I don't know, I just had this perception of the Moondogs, and Spot was the leader, and Cujo was the big, It didn't really matter, though, because they all fought like hell. Rico says, ain't no way Zaya can help Lil Homie and Tim grind now. Well, we'll see. I tell you what, she packs one hell of a punch. Zaya Wolf, who's going to be coming to Tupelo tonight. I remember Legend back in the day, classic. I highly doubt a referee is the shocker. What? I highly doubt a referee is shocker. Moondog Rex, okay. J Webb went too far with Makari, and she should be able to have friends. I don't know, she shouldn't be hugging up on somebody. I'm kidding. She meant nothing by that, but J Webb's hot. He's mad about it. Reggie B does look great, man. Dude's got to be 100 years old. Do them in season or a year playlist. Well, Kevin, it would be per episode. So all the clips would go into the same playlist as the episode. So that way, if you could see all the matches right there in that playlist. Did Pete get punished this week for blatantly interfering and costing Aaron his match with Marco last week? Get out of here, Bo. You should have loved this week's episode with all the Psycho Simon. Autism Elite, hey Dustin, see you next Sunday. Can't wait, Christopher. I'll see you there. Bring your championship belt. That would be great, Dustin. Watch old episode with your reaction to us fans chatting. That could be good. Maybe we do a little live reaction after that. I'm sure there's a ton of stories on these things. Watch alongs with Memphis Wrestling Superstars and Legends and comment live. That would be great. Yes to all the above. Good call. Older episodes. Okay. Yeah, James Curtis trained at the WrestleCenter, and we've seen little glimpses of him throughout, the last year on Memphis Wrestling, but nothing solid. Now it looks like he's ready. I want to see Rich Swann in Memphis Wrestling. There's an interesting story for members only on Rich Swann. I said it in the chat. It's too ripped to be the shocker. Yeah. Gun Show, get revenge on Psycho Simon sooner or later in Memphis Wrestling. There will be an official update in the weeks to come on the Gun Show. It was reported on our Facebook page that he's out 8 to 12 weeks. Christopher says he's in Olive Branch. Very cool. That's where I live. You're not outside my place, are you? I'm just kidding. Rico, superheroes must work together against the misunderstood madman. That is crazy. Jonesy Jones, we came dressed as the Moondogs, and Richard Lee, it was great. It was one of the best costumes I've ever seen. It was awesome. Nicely done, Buddy Jones. Pimpin', pimp, and pimpin'. He's been pimpin' since pimpin' been pimpin', I think is what he said. Dustin, keep the playlist the way they are. We're just going to add to it. Will the problem be there next week? Yes, unfortunately, the problem will be there. Dustin, any chances of Dakota Kai coming to Memphis Wrestling? Potentially. I had some agents reach out to me, so that's anything could happen. Josie Jones, will Reggie be fine coming to any future tapings? Possibly. I think you answered it, possibly. I know he had a great time. I know he wants to come back, and so we'll just see if his schedule aligns with ours. Yeah, definitely a strong statement, Rob. That's a big victory. Dustin, will Memphis Wrestling put together more premium events? I'm definitely going to try to. GCW, they were Moondog Wetzel, okay. DDT, an official, actually DDT returns to the WrestleCenter coming up. I'm sweating because I'm out here in my porch. Where's Cassandra Golden? That's probably a conversation for members only, but she's still wrestling. She's doing well. Can you put your hand on the camera for Lamar Jackson edit, please? What does that mean? I have no idea what that means. Enzo Amore, Shocker and Wonder Boy, Mid-South Marvels, not bad. It is hot in here. The Slaughterhouse is strong. Moondogs were terrifying as a kid. You're damn right they were. Moondogs were very terrifying. What's Dustin's favorite Grind City Rumble? Oh, man. Maybe that's what we should do is watch through the Grind City Rumbles. And I wouldn't want to watch the first one, though. That would suck. There's a giant Moondog splat. Big Black Dog. I remember him. Moondog Fifi. Oh, wow. Getting closer to Night of Champions in Saudi Arabia. Yep. All right, guys. I'm going to transition over to members only, and we're going to talk about some of those names that you've mentioned here, and then also some behind-the-scenes stuff. We could even talk about how the Crazy Steve match came together. Whatever it is that you want to talk about, I'm going to go to members only for a moment. Where's Morrow and Bruce? Is that a members-only question? It might be a members-only question, but you guys know about this long-term storytelling. I appreciate you guys joining us here. I can't wait to see you guys next week. Another awesome episode next week. And then we have our television taping featuring Shark Boy and then also, of course, James Ellsworth. Gilbert is coming up as well. That's going to be on July the 20th. July 12th, we have Kalisto in Little Rock. Rikishi's coming. Buff Bagwell's coming. Dude, we are doing our absolute best to bring you guys the tip-top stuff. And then also, I'll see you guys next week on the live chat. I'll see you guys in just a moment on members only. If you are not a member, go ahead and join right now because I'm about to go talk some smack. I am Dustin Starr. Are you going to have sparklers for Gilbert? I think that is a fire code violation, but I've got another idea, and maybe we could talk about that on members only. I'll see you guys next week. Dustin Starr signing off. Oh, yeah. I'll see you in Tupelo tonight. You better come say hello. Oh, hell yeah.